Well, here we are back at G Creek, and the last time I was here there was absolutely no water to speak of at all, and so I came today for a couple of reasons. One, to try out my new Low Pro 300 Pro Tactic 300 AW2, so we'll kind of talk about that as we go along the trail today, but also because I just needed to get out of the house. I needed to take a walk, and the G Creek Trail is so easy to walk. If you've never been here, now driving in the last, quarter of a mile can be a little rough, so be careful. But once you're here, the trail is just right up until the falls. There's just one little rock you got to get over at the falls, and other than that, the trail is it's just incredibly easy. It's a nice day out in the woods. So let's head on out and see what we got. Well, this is new. You never know when you come to a trail what you're going to find. And they do a good job of cleaning this trail up, but this hasn't been cleaned out yet. Fortunately, it's walkable. Let me give you a few reasons why I'm back at G Creek Falls today. I seem to come here a lot, and I have my friend Gary Weber to thank for that. He's the one that introduced me to G Creek Falls, and I have loved not only the place down by the bridge, we've already passed there. The hike is easy. The waterfall's small, but it's really nice. But every time I come here, I seem to get the same composition. And I'll throw one up here on the screen now of times that I've been here in the past. So I've come for a couple of reasons. One is because I wanted to try out this new backpack. It's a little heavier than what I've been carrying because I have some more gear in it. And I didn't want to overstress myself because, contrary to what you might think looking at this amazingly fit body that I have, I'm really out of shape. So the other reason is because I brought my 70-200 today, which I've never had here before, to try to get some different kinds of compositions. And thirdly, because I want to see if I can capture the falls in a way I've never captured it before. And that will require seeing how I can get around the area better. So to do that, I have worn my wading boots rather than my hiking boots. Now, they are slippery, so getting up and down out of some of these ravines may be a little touchy, but I really don't mind going down on my butt if I have to. Hopefully planned, not unplanned. But it does make some spots a little more tricky, but it also allows me at times, hopefully, to get out into the stream more easily than my waterproof hiking boots and sealskin socks would allow me to do, and leave here with some dry shoes and hopefully dry pants. We'll see. In all the times that I've been here, I have never crossed the stream. And so today I've decided to take a little different route. It may not allow me to get all the way to the falls, but I'm going to follow it as long as I can. Let me show you where I'm at. So over here is the trail I was on, and there is this concrete flume in the water from where they used to do logging here. So ordinarily the trail comes right up here above these rocks, and then there is this sort of treacherous place up here. You can get across it, and you can sit down and cross it. But with these wading boots on instead of hiking shoes, and as slippery as they are, I thought maybe I could find a different way around. So I crossed the flume, and I am here at the bottom of a really, really nice cascade. There is a tree down over it, which sort of messes with it all, but I'm going to keep walking up the trail just a bit to see what else, how far up I can get on this side of the trail. And if I can get to the falls, this will be the shot that I've been looking for, a different composition from the other side. While I'm still sort of pondering my options here, they seem to be running out. Let me show you one of the things I've got going against me at the falls. I had always wanted, the falls are just up over here, just a little ways, but I've always wanted to walk out into the water at the base of the falls. The problem is that the ground looks like this. There is no flat spot. Everything is jutting up out of the dirt, out of the creek bed, and you just can't step anywhere without risking losing your balance and maybe breaking a leg. I'm not really seeing much of a way forward here, but I'm going to keep trying. We'll be back in a little bit. All right, so I did make it to the falls. Lucky me. Unfortunately, I was not able to get on the other side. And so I'm standing where I typically stand. And of course, it's starting to rain just a little bit, which is no big deal. I hope I've got a cloth for my camera lens. But typically, let me turn this around. Typically from where I'm standing, I have this rock right here that continually gets in my way. And what I'd like to do is get out here. Now, the water's pretty clear, and I kind of see a path out there right here, but I don't know how deep it is and whether my boots will handle it or not. So I'm going to walk out there and see what I've got. I don't know if I don't know how far I'll get, but we'll see. All right, so I've got the shot set up. I'm out in the water a little bit. I'm not wading too far out because I really don't know what I'm going to run into, and I don't want to slip and fall while I'm out here by myself because, you know, I'm chicken. But I do have a shot where I've got these rocks right here in the front on my wide angle lens, leading sort of up around these rocks over here up into the waterfall. I'm at a vertical. Let's see if I can get out here just a little bit more where I can actually kind of play with stuff here. I have my circular polarizer on. I'm at f8 and 1/100th of a second. I've got my 2-second timer on, and I'm just going to kind of play around with f8 and then f11, where it'll give me 1 second, and then f16. F16 gives me 2 seconds. And I think I kind of like that. So I'm going to play with that just a little bit. I need to get some focus stacking done. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to underexpose that just a little bit. I'm going to go back to f8. Actually, I'm going to go back to f11. And I'm just going to manually focus stack it since I'm out here in the water and I don't want to mess with all my settings too much. So there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. All at 1 second exposures. We'll see what that does for me. The 1 second is actually turning out pretty good here in the pool. I may try something just a little bit longer that I can blend, and to do that, I'm going to take my, what is this? This is my 6-stop neutral density filter, and throw it on here. I've never really talked about my case magnetic filters much, but I'm really, really liking these filters. They are so easy. That's too much. That gives me more than a 30-second exposure, so I don't want that. Let's take that back off. And we're going to go with the 3-stop instead. My lens is a little wet. and that's not helping me any. And let's see how that works. This is my 10 stop. God, we don't want that. And that brings me to a 4-second exposure. So let me expose back here on this rock and just see what that does for me. I'm just really looking for what it does at the pool at the base of the falls. I know it's going to be too much for the falls itself. And that looks nice. That image gives me a nice reflection of the waterfall in the base that I like a lot. I'm going to shoot at f16 once just to slow it down even more. That's an 8-second exposure. Let's see what that does. And that'll just give me a few shots to kind of play around with. And so now I'm going to pull out the 70-200 really quick and see what I've got before I start walking my way back down the falls. All right, I just shot a bunch of footage with my gimbal over here on the rocks. I'm not sure I'm going to use it because it cut me off about here. It's hard to, this little tiny screen, it's hard to tell what you actually have in the frame. But let me show you where I'm at. So I did wind up out here in the water, and I just got through taking some pictures with my 15-35, and I'll throw those up on the screen here while I'm talking, because I was standing pretty much in the same spot, and I got this rock right here. Where am I at? This rock right here in the frame up close, and then this rock leading into the entirety of the falls. So I'm back in the water. Let me see if I can come down here and show you where I'm at. I am in the water, and I'm only, I don't know, about 8 inches deep or so, but I hesitate stepping out there because I don't know what's there. So what I have right now is my 70-200 on here vertical, and I'm just looking at this left side of the falls right here. I've taken some shots at about 1.5 seconds, and then I took one 10-second shot to smooth out all this water in the front. I've taken a focus here on this rock, and I've taken a focus back there at f11, and I think that's going to be all the focus stacking I need to do. And I'm just going to take a couple of more shots here before I start walking back down the trail and getting some cascades. I moved down the creek bed a little bit, not very far, just sort of at the bottom of the falls right now. And I've decided that from here on back to the car, I'm only going to use the 70-200 just to sort of, make me really look for the compositions. So what I have right here, let me turn the camera around. What I have right here is this entire little cascade right here. Some might even call that a waterfall. It's pretty tall. And really all I'm getting is the bottom half of this in the frame. Now I'm gonna angle it up just a little bit because there's a rock right here in the middle that I want to get and highlight. That's really where I want to focus in on. I've been shooting at 70 millimeters, so now I'm gonna zoom in and see what I can get there. I'm actually standing out here in the water again, which is not a big deal. One of the things I noticed as I was standing here is that I have shot all of my images so far with the image stabilization still on the lens, which is a no-no on a tripod, but we'll see how they turn out. I'm fixing to turn it off so I get the rest of the shots the way I should. This is what happens when you get in a hurry and you're not thinking about everything. I really need to make a checklist. I've stopped at another place here downriver, and this was one I really wanted to look at because I can pretty much get from the top to the bottom of the falls on my 70-200 from this spot. So I'm gonna take a couple of pictures there, but then I want to use the 200 to really zoom in on some places and see what that looks like. And I'll put those pictures up as we're going along. But right now, let me show you what I've got. So this is the composition that I have, and I've got some really nice color up here in the top, which I think will really sort of pop from those dead leaves up there in post editing. But I do have this little tree hanging down here. I'm not going to get much of that in the frame. There's really nothing I can do about it because it's pretty big, and I'm not going to try to drag it out of here. But not only here, but there's also a nice little spot right here while I'm standing here in this spot, and the 70-200 is perfect for these kinds of views. Okay, I am back out. There were a couple of other spots I could have stopped, but to be honest with you, with these wellies on, I wasn't real comfortable coming down some of those slides. I will have to do it when I have some hiking shoes back on. Yeah, you live and learn. It's you come prepared to take a few pictures, but you can't take all the pictures. And so anyway, I am leaving G Creek Falls now and heading back to the house, and we'll catch you next time. I'll leave you with a few pictures from the day.